a smiley.
I wasn't even there 30 minutes and they called and told me her car was found.
Ooh, yo, bitch, she's so bad, she's perfect. Just like a rat, she's twerking. Twerking. Bop, 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 bop.
He cut my throat. Those were the desperate words Kania Brunson screamed as she fought for her life in the back of a car. Her wrists were tied with wire. Blood poured from a gash across her neck. A screwdriver jabbed into her side. And the man holding her down? A 54-year-old she'd been secretly seeing since she was a teenager. His friend watched in horror and called 911. But before police could arrive, the killer drove off with Kania still breathing in his backseat. What he did next in that Milwaukee alley would shock an entire city. This is the story of how a secret affair turned into a nightmare no one saw coming.
She was everything to me. She was everything, and this is the most hurtful feeling.
We talk about how Kania Brunson died. We need to talk about how she lived. Kania was only 20 years old. She had one of those smiles that could light up a room, the kind that was always ready for a camera. Her family said she could make you laugh over the silliest things. She was the type of person you just loved to have in your life. Born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Kania was her father Sean T. Brunson's firstborn child. He later said, "Kania was my everything. She taught me a lot about myself." Her mother, Jennifer Meadows, called her my best friend. That's how close they were. Kania even taught her mom how to apply fake eyelashes and shape eyebrows. She was good at making people look beautiful, and that's exactly what she wanted to do with her life. When Kania was younger, she dreamed big. She talked about becoming an orthodontist, someone who fixes teeth and creates perfect smiles. She also thought about being a veterinarian when helping sick animals get better. But recently something changed. Kania discovered she had a real talent for cosmetology. She loved doing hair, makeup, and nails. She was naturally good at it. So she enrolled in beauty school. She was excited about this new path. Finally, she'd found something that felt right. Her future looked bright. Kania wasn't just talented. She was loved. Her stepfather, Cameron Meadows, would later describe losing her as unbelievable. Her mother said, "She was everything to me." This is the most hurtful feeling. The pain in their voices said it all. At 20, Kania had her whole life ahead of her. She was young, full of dreams, and surrounded by people who adored her. She should have been planning her career, maybe falling in love with someone who treated her right, building the life she deserved. But there was something her family didn't know, something Kania kept hidden. She was involved with someone much older, someone who was married, and that secret relationship was about to cost her everything. Before we go further, I want to ask you something. Have you ever kept a secret that you knew was dangerous? Drop a comment below and let me know what state or country you're watching from. And if this story is already gripping you, hit that like button so more people can hear Kania's story. Now let's talk about the man who destroyed her life. Sultan Sharif was 54 years old. Kania Brunson was 20. Do the math. That's a 34-year age gap. But here's the disturbing part. Their relationship didn't start when Kania was 20. It started when she was a teenager. For years, Sharif had been having a sexual affair with Kania. And while she was still in high school, he was already in his 50s. He was old enough to be her father. Actually, he was older than her father, and Sultan Sharif was married. He had a wife at home who had no idea what he was doing. Kania was his secret. That's all she was to him. A secret he could hide away from his real life. Sharif wasn't just any guy. He was a convicted felon with a criminal record. People who knew him said he always carried guns, 1 or 2 at a time, even though it was illegal for him to have them. This was a dangerous man. When investigators later asked Sharif about his relationship with Kania, he called it casual. Just casual, like it was nothing. But prosecutors saw it differently. They believed Kania had fallen deeply in love with him. She wasn't treating it as casual. To her, it meant something real. That's the problem with these kinds of relationships. The younger person often thinks it's love. The older person? They're usually just using them. For a while, Sharif managed to keep his double life going. His wife didn't know. Kania's family didn't know the full truth. Everything was hidden in the shadows. But secrets like this don't stay buried forever. At some point, word got out. Someone talked. Maybe Kania told a friend. Maybe someone saw them together. However it happened, the news reached the one person Sharif didn't want to know, his wife. And that's when everything started falling apart. Kania didn't just sit quietly after the secret came out. She started reaching out to Sharif's wife. Maybe she wanted to break up his marriage. Maybe she wanted his wife to know the truth about who she was married to. Maybe Kania thought if she exposed everything, Sharif would finally leave his wife and be with her. Whatever her reasons, Sharif was furious. His carefully controlled life was crumbling. His wife knew about the affair. His marriage was in trouble. He was losing control of the situation. And for a man like Sultan Sharif, losing control was unacceptable. 1 week before Kania was murdered, Sharif did something strange. He contacted Kania's mother, Jennifer Meadows. He told her he wanted to stop messing with her daughter. Why? Because Kania was contacting his wife. Think about that for a second. He didn't call Kania directly. He called her mother. It was a warning, a threat disguised as an explanation. Jennifer Meadows had no idea that this phone call was a sign of what was coming. No one did. Sultan Sharif's world was falling apart. Yes, his marriage was in danger. His secret was out. And in his mind, there was only one person to blame for all of it. Kania Brunson. September 24th, 2022, started like any normal day. Kania had no idea it would be her last. That morning, Kania met up with Sultan Sharif at an auto mechanic shop on Milwaukee's north side. Her Hyundai needed work, something with the radiator. Sharif said he'd help her get it fixed. A man named Carver was at the shop that day. He was a longtime friend of Sharif's. When Carver saw them together, nothing seemed wrong. Just two people getting a car repaired. Normal. Routine. But hours later, Carver got a phone call that would change everything. It was Sharif. His voice was panicked, urgent. He needed help. He needed it now. Carver rushed back to the mechanic shop. What he saw when he arrived would haunt him for the rest of his life. Sultan Sharif was in the back seat of his car. He had Kania pinned down with his knee pressed into her body. In his hand was a screwdriver, and he was jabbing it into her side, again and again. Kania's wrists were tied together with wire. Her throat had been slashed open. Blood was everywhere, but Kania was still alive. She was screaming, begging for help. "He cut my throat," she cried out. "He cut my throat!" Can you imagine the terror she felt in that moment? The pain, the betrayal. This was someone she loved, someone she'd been with for years, and now he was killing her. Sharif looked at his friend Carver and asked him to help dispose of Kania's body, just like that, like she was trash to be thrown away. Carver refused. And he told Sharif he wasn't going to let him leave with her. He wasn't going to be part of this. That's when Sharif reached for the dashboard and grabbed a gun. He pointed it at Carver. The message was clear. Back off or you're next. Carver had a choice to make. He could try to save Kania and risk getting shot himself, or he could step back and call for help. He chose to call 911. Carver gave the dispatcher everything he could, a description of Sharif's vehicle, a partial license plate number, and Sharif's name. He told them exactly what he'd seen. A woman was hurt, badly, and the man who did it was getting away. But by the time police could respond, Sharif was already gone. He drove off with Kania still in the back seat, still alive, still breathing. What happened next is almost too horrible to describe. Prosecutors believe Sharif attacked Kania again while driving. He was in a rage, completely out of control. At some point, he shot her. Then he drove to an alley near Keefe Avenue and Palmer Street. It was a quiet spot. No one around. The perfect place to hide a crime. Sharif wasn't alone anymore. His brother-in-law, Johnny Hopgood Jr., met him there. Together, they did the unthinkable. They stabbed Kania's body. They mutilated it. Then they stuffed her into a recycling bin and set it on fire. They burned her. They burned her so badly that when investigators found her remains, they couldn't even tell if the body was male or female. They had to use dental records just to confirm it was Kania. All of this, the stabbing, the shooting, the burning, was done to destroy evidence, to make sure no one could prove what Sharif had done. But he made mistakes, and those mistakes would come back to destroy him. Let me ask you something. What do you think went through Kania's mind in those final moments? Do you think she ever imagined the man she loved could do this to her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're still watching, please hit that subscribe button. Stories like Kania's need to be told, and your support helps us keep sharing them. While Sharif thought he'd gotten away with it, investigators were already closing in, and the evidence they found would be impossible to deny. The investigation moved fast. Thanks to Carvester Carver's 911 call, police already had a suspect name, a vehicle description, and a partial license plate. They knew exactly who they were looking for, Sultan Sharif. Within days, flyers went up around Milwaukee. Or Kania Brunson was officially listed as missing. Tips started coming in from the community. People wanted to help find her, but investigators were already building their case. They pulled video footage from businesses and homes near the alley where Kania's body was found. The videos showed Sharif's vehicle in that exact location on the night of the murder. They checked his cell phone records. His phone pinged off towers right near Keefe Avenue and Palmer Street, the same alley where Kania was burned. They searched his car. Inside, they found Kania's blood. Sharif's wife tried to give him an alibi. She told police he was home with her that night, but the video evidence proved she was lying. He wasn't home. He was in that alley. By October 2022, charges were filed. Sultan Sharif was charged with first-degree intentional homicide and mutilating a corpse. His brother-in-law, Johnny Hopgood Jr., was charged with mutilating a corpse and helping a felon. Hopgood didn't want to go down with Sharif. In November 2022, he cut a deal. He pleaded guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of obstructing an officer. In exchange, he agreed to testify against Sharif. He got time served and 10 years of probation. The trial began in early 2024. It lasted 6 days. Sharif's defense lawyer, Jason Carlos Gonzalez, tried his best. He told the jury to look past Sharif's faults and focus on the evidence. He called it circumstantial. He claimed investigators had tunnel vision and only focused on Sharif because they wanted someone to blame. But the prosecution had a different story to tell. Assistant District Attorney Ian Vance Curzon laid out the case piece by piece. The videos, the cell phone data, the blood in the car, the witness testimony from Carver. Everything fit together perfectly. In his closing argument, Vance Curzon said, "All of the evidence in this case points to Sultan Sharif being the person who is guilty of this crime. There is no other fair and rational way to look at the evidence. He had the motive. He was cheating on his wife. Kania told on him. His world was falling apart. His marriage was falling apart. He was losing control, so he did everything he could to get away with it." The jury didn't need long to decide. After 6 days of testimony, they deliberated for just 45 minutes. 45 minutes. That's how clear the evidence was. The verdict, guilty. Guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. And guilty of mutilating a corpse. The courtroom was packed with Kania's family. Many wore white shirts with her picture on them. The shirts said, "Our angel, forever in our hearts." When the verdict was read, Kania's father, Kania Brunson, broke down in tears. "I'm very pleased and happy with the verdict," he said. "It was a long time waiting. It gave me and my family healing. I'm just happy I got justice for my baby." Kania's story didn't have to end this way, and if you or someone you know is in a similar situation, there are warning signs you need to watch for. First, huge age gaps in relationships, especially when one person is a teenager, are a major red flag. These relationships often involve control and manipulation, not real love. Second, secrecy is dangerous. If someone demands you keep your relationship hidden, ask yourself why. The healthy relationships don't need to be secrets. Third, the most dangerous time is when you try to leave or expose the relationship. If someone threatens you, contacts your family, or shows rage when losing control, get help immediately. If you're in this situation, reach out. Call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-7997-233. Tell a trusted friend or family member. Document everything, texts, calls, threats. Create a safety plan. And if you witness something like what Carvester Carver saw, do what he did. Call 911. Don't try to handle it alone. Give police every detail you can. Your call could save a life. Kania reached out to Sharif's wife hoping something would change. Instead, it cost her everything. Don't wait until it's too late. On February 22nd, 2024, Sultan Sharif was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of release. He'll never walk free again. At the sentencing, Kania's father sat just feet away from the man who killed his daughter. He called Sharif a monster and said, "If I go to hell, I'll see you there." Kania Brunson was 20 years old. She had dreams of becoming a beauty professional. She had a smile that could light up any room. She deserved so much better. What's your biggest takeaway from Kania's story? Have you seen similar situations in your own community? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And please share this video. Kania's story needs to be heard. Hit that like button and subscribe so we can continue telling these important stories. Rest in peace, Kania.